Hey there, creepy peeps. I'm Nightmare Maven and welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about Perpetrator, the twisty, kind of funny, definitely weird new horror thriller that just hit Shudder. Directed by Jennifer Reeder, Perpetrator follows teen Johnny, who moves in with her great aunt Hildy just before her 18th birthday. When she turns 18, Johnny inherits a family gift called the Forever Ring, and she uses her newfound gifts to solve the disappearance of several girls from her school. If you've already started to see the reviews come in for Perpetrator, you can kind of tell it's a bit of a mixed bag, maybe leaning towards like generally dislike. And I wasn't surprised about those reviews after seeing the film because it is a little bit bizarre, I do have to say. The tone is a little bit all over the place, although I think it was leaning more towards like offbeat humor, maybe a little bit campy. Just didn't feel like it committed to that tone fully. And I didn't really mind the tonal shifts throughout the movie so much. That wasn't the only thing that was kind of all over the place. All of the different topics and themes this film tried to cover kind of gave me whiplash a little bit. I feel like the overall theme was violence against women and feminine presenting people and the fear that we deal with just by existing like on a regular basis. And I feel like that was fine paired with Johnny's power that she inherits at 18, which is essentially like super empathy. She can feel all the feelings, and to me that kind of spoke to this idea that like not only do you have to feel your own feelings, so you're feeling this fear just by existing yourself every time you go out, you also have to deal with all of that coming at you from the outside in the form of just like hearing about all these terrible instances of violence against women and feminine presenting people. Like just literally just this past week, if you've been on TikTok at all, you've probably heard about the woman that got hit in the face with a brick by a man because she didn't want to give him her phone number, and a bunch of men just stood around and watched it happen. And I think if Perpetrator had kind of like stuck to those two ideas, I feel like everything would have been fine. But they threw a lot of different ideas at the wall that frankly like all kind of like fall under the umbrella of like women and feminine presenting people existing, but maybe it was just too broad of an idea for 1 hour and 40-minute movie. It ended up just kind of feeling unfinished, like it should have been a longer movie or it should have been a mini series. That's just how it felt. And I didn't hate anything that the film was trying to say either. There were queer themes, the idea that women are expected by society to like look like they're in their 20s up until they die, men's insecurities and how that can manifest violently, i.e. the story I was just talking about. I do think the performances were the standout feature in this movie to me. Kia McKiernan was magnetic as Johnny, especially in the moments where Johnny is like feral almost is the best way I can describe it. Plus we had Alicia Silverstone as like the offbeat Aunt Hildy. She was awesome and completely different from any other character I've seen her play so far. It was truly a treat. I feel like I need like a spin-off movie of just her character. And then we also had Christopher Lowell, who is always great fun. Like his character made me really uncomfortable because he was at times kind of funny and it was a little bit disarming, and then he was just so creepy. I think that was the point. Perpetrator as a film was also visually beautiful. There were quite a few moments where it's like a little bit trippy is how I would describe the vibe of this movie. And I also really enjoyed and want to point out like the change of pace in the editing during certain points of the film. So for example, on Johnny's 18th birthday, she goes through this change. It's like kind of like akin to like a werewolf change. During that scene and other scenes like it, the cuts start to get choppier and it feels a bit more like frantic and hectic, which reflects how the character is feeling in that moment, and I really enjoyed that. Overall, I feel like the mishmash of tones was kind of fun in a way. It was a little bit disarming. It like threw me off balance, but I didn't mind it. It's definitely one of the more unique films I've seen this year so far. I think it's just one of those films, like in this particular instance with this particular movie, I feel like my appreciation for what I I think the film was trying to do is able to kind of like overshadow like any like bumps or things I might not like about the movie. I will be happy to watch this again, especially now that I fully know what's going on. It's a bit of a wild ride if you go into it not knowing anything about it. So if anyone watching this has seen Perpetrator already, please get down in those comments and let me know what you thought about it. And if you haven't seen it yet and you're considering it, I would maybe compare this movie to something like Hellbender. If you've seen that movie and you enjoyed that movie and you enjoy those kinds of movies, I feel like you might like Perpetrator. So if you like this video, check out the rest of my channel. I talk about spooky things all year round. So I'll talk about more spooky things with you next time. Until then, stay strange. Bye.